Hey guys, it's been a really long time since I've actually uploaded anything. It's been almost a year actually. Sorry. Happy New Year's! It's 2019 now, and 2018 was an insane year. uh, I guess I just kind of want to reflect on everything that happened in 2018 with me and things that can hopefully happen in 2019. So, let's do it! So the first big thing for me that happened in 2019 was I took the step forward to get the mental help that I needed because I've been struggling with depression and anxiety and PTSD for about 5 years on my own. And it took a lot of courage and like a lot of self I don't know, self battles to actually go out and ask for help. And I would like to thank Markiplier, and Jacksepticeye, for helping me through all of this. They were kind of there to provide a smile and a little laugh when I needed it, and to help me through my bad days. And I would really like to thank Jack for PMA, which is what really kept me going through 2018. And I actually bought the jacket because I wanted to keep it with me wherever I went. PMA was a huge thing, and I'm so proud of the entire community and Jack for kind of bringing us all together through this and reminding us that it's okay to feel sad, to feel angry, to just kind of feel emotions, because that's what makes us human. You don't have to be happy all the time, 24/7. You don't have to have a smile on your face. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to cry. But if you need to talk to somebody about it, please talk to them. Don't keep it inside. Don't like bottle it up, because that stuff can get really hard to deal with on your own later on. And it's a good way to kind of get us to reach out and ask for help when we need it. Uh, Sorry, I'm gonna ramble about mental health the entire time if I don't stop myself. Another big thing that happened in 2018 for me was I went to California for the first time. I didn't go to any of the big cities or anything. I flew to Fresno. I flew to Arizona. Then I flew to Fresno to go on a camping trip for 1 month. I was in the Sierra Nevada mountains for 1 month with Outward Bound. And I met some amazing people there. Lex from New York. I don't know if you're watching this, but if you are, I miss you so much, and I really hope I get to see you this summer. Same goes to Daniel and Aiden. I miss you guys a whole lot, and I'm so sorry that I haven't really been talking that much. I haven't really had a whole lot of time. Sorry. But I miss you guys, and I had so much fun in California with you, and I'm so sorry for having to leave so early. About the trip. Whenever I flew there, we all met up at the airport, and we took it was like a 2 hour bus ride. It was like a 2 hour bus ride to the middle of nowhere, and it was so cool. I remember sitting in the back of the bus and like passing out with Lex. That was that was amazing. But we drove 2.5 hours. I slept most of the time because I was tired and I had just flown for quite a few hours and kind of wore myself out running around the airport and taking pictures and like looking at what little part of the city that I could see. But whenever we got there, it was so nice to kind of be away from everything, because I finally got a chance to like sit down and think about everything that had happened so far in the year. And this was in July and August. Like this was the beginning of, or the ending of July, and close to the middle and the end of August. But while I was out there and we had like set up camp and everything, and like I finally got a little bit of time to myself after setting everything up and getting prepared to sleep outdoors for a month, it was kind of nice to get some quiet time and just kind of reflect over everything that had happened and how nice it felt to just be alone for a little while. Because I think that's kind of what I don't know how to explain it. That's kind of what kind of keeps us from speaking our thoughts, is because we don't want it to come out a jumbled mess. we like to sit down and think about things before we say them. And in the world that we live in, where there's TVs and social media and everything is everywhere all the time, and there's always so much noise and so much going on, you don't really get a chance to think. And when you do, it can be a little overwhelming, so just make sure that there's someone there that you can talk to after you're done kind of reflecting on everything. But it gave me a chance to go over everything that had happened in the year, and it gave me new perspective on everything. Like, being out there, we had no cell phones, we didn't have running water, we cooked our own meals, we bathed in rivers. It was it was crazy, but it was so much fun. We hiked for like miles during the day. We'd hike for like 5 hours straight before sitting down and taking a break. And like, don't get me wrong, it was a whole lot of fun, but it was a lot of hard work. And I think it's really cool doing that every now and then, just kind of going outside and spending time away from everything around us. But it gave me new perspective on how much I take for granted everything that I have. Like, obviously I'm not in my house right now, we're at a hotel. It's too cold to stay in our house because snow won't go away. But it kind of made me take for granted, it made me realize how much I took for granted, like, the internet and all the people that I've met on there. Like, I love all of you guys so much. You guys are so amazing. And it made me realize that just how much I'd miss everything if it was gone. Like, out there, I obviously didn't have, like, internet or running water. We didn't have sliced bread. We didn't have bread at all. We didn't even have sliced salami. But it was actually kind of nice, because it shows you just how much you take for granted everything that you have around you. Like this lamp right here. We didn't have lights. We had little tiny headlamps that you could barely see 10 feet in front of you in the middle of the night. And it also kind of made you realize how much you took for granted the stuff you didn't realize that you, like, how much you missed the stuff that you didn't have before. Like the sky at night. If you live in a big town or a big city, you don't really get to see the stars or the moon or anything like that at night. And being out there, you could see everything. You could hear, like, you could hear stuff that you weren't used to hearing. And you didn't realize how nice it was until you heard it. And then coming back after hiking for so long, being in a car was so weird. Like, you're just sitting there like, oh, I'm moving really fast without actually hacking my lungs out. It was a really good trip. And like I said, I met some amazing people there, and like some of the people you didn't realize that you would connect with. Like, we had one guy, he looked like this big old jerk, like guy that would be on the football team that was just a friggin' butthead to everybody. But he actually wasn't. He was actually a really cool guy. The camp counselors, I guess I can call them, separated us off. Like, at the beginning, we'd all group up with the people that we knew we'd get along with. But whenever we were hiking to our new spot, they would separate us and send us, like they would put me with the guy that I thought looked like a total jerk. Richie, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. You're not a jerk. You're amazing. But they partnered me with him, and they were like, all right, find a few common interests you guys have and tell us about them. And walking along is a little awkward. You know, I like music, and I like art, and I like writing. And found out that he liked music too. He liked music and art as well. And we started talking about that, and we talked about it for almost an hour. Like, it's crazy how easy it is to make friends if you don't immediately judge them for how they look and how they talk. Like, most people, like, from what I've gathered, most people don't really talk to me because I just kind of seem like that brush off person that doesn't really enjoy talking to people. And I really do enjoy talking to people. I'm really shy and really awkward about it. I have really bad social anxiety, and I've been trying to work on that a lot. And I've been trying to, like, step outside of my comfort zone. Which brings me to the next thing. I got my first job. I work at a little tiny bakery cafe thing in town. I work in the little ice cream and sweets corner of it. I sell and make cinnamon rolls and sell frozen yogurt and, stuff like that. I make smoothies, I make milkshakes. It's so much fun. But, it really helped me kind of step outside of this little, like, bubble that I have around myself. I don't interact with people socially a whole lot. Like, I interact with people online, but not out in the real world. Because that's just something that's really hard for me to do. I don't know. Growing up, I didn't exactly have a whole lot of friends. I had maybe one person that I kind of hung out with, but I couldn't really call them a friend. I was just kind of there in the background to feel less alone, because it's gonna get a little deep here for a second. I apologize. At my house, it wasn't exactly a stable environment, which sounds really bad, but I didn't exactly have the best home life when I was younger, and I still really don't. But it's gotten a lot better from when I was younger. From when I was younger, my mom and her boyfriend, I don't know what to call him, her boyfriend, I guess, our roommate, they would fight all the time. So I would, like, kind of start staying outdoors and staying away from home as much as I possibly could. Like, I'd go out and I'd stay out until maybe, like, 9 o'clock at night. And this is when I was, like, little. I was, like, 7 years old. And, like, I went up to this, I remember when I was younger, this was whenever I didn't have any friends at all. I remember telling my mom to cheer her up that I was going to go hang out with some friends. And, like, it put a smile on her face, because she knew I didn't really have any friends before, and she felt really bad, because she knew I would keep myself cooped up in my room all day, because I didn't really have anybody to go hang out with. And, like, I literally went up to some random person's door and asked if they had kids home that I could hang out with, because I didn't want my mom to, like, feel bad about me not having any friends or anything. And, like, it was a girl, like, obviously I was 7, she was maybe, like, 15 years old, maybe? Like, I think I accidentally made her feel bad, because she invited me inside, and, like, we talked about a whole bunch of random stuff, and she had a cat, and it was fantastic. We sat there, we were petting the cat, and she's talking about all this random stuff, and it was kind of fun, actually. Oh god, what was I talking about? First thing you're gonna learn about me is I have horrible memory. Right, comfort zone, job, social interaction. For the longest time, I didn't have friends. And then whenever I finally made some friends, it was actually pretty nice. I didn't really say much. I didn't talk about much. I was the quiet person. I was the really, really quiet person of the group. But, whenever I finally made friends and everything, it kind of made me realize how nice it was to have the option to go somewhere and do something with those people. And then whenever I got a job, I started kind of stepping outside of my little bubble a little bit more. Like, we have a place in Midtown that I'd usually avoid, because there was way too many people and I was way too awkward to go out there and, like, go into the little shops and everything and talk to people. But I found myself doing that more and more this year. Like, I walked through Midtown at least 5 times in the past 2 months, which is a big step for me, because I really don't go outside that much. Like, as sad as it is, most of my life revolves around the internet. Most of the friends that I've met and the people that I talk to, they're all online. Like, even my friends in real life, we don't visit each other that often. Mostly because either they're busy or I'm busy at work, or, like, there's just not enough time to do everything. But this year, that's what I'm planning, or not, I said this year this entire time, haven't I? Last year, I was doing more stuff. This year, 2019, I'm planning to go out and kind of be a little more out there, which is why I'm making this video, because I wanted to do, I wanted to do YouTube for a really long time. Like, I made my account 2012, 2014? Somewhere along there. That was whenever I made my account, and I posted my first video, which was just like a PMV, a picture music video. I posted that, 2-3 years ago now? And it was like, it had, what, like 12,000, 20,000 views on it, and I blew my mind. Because at the time, that's what was on YouTube. And, like, it blew my mind that it had actually got that many views on it. And right now, I have 90-something, 80-something subscribers, which I don't know where you guys came from, but hey, you're here, and I appreciate it. But this year, some of the other stuff that I wanted to talk about, I've got a little list because I'm awkward and I can't remember things. Some of the stuff I really want to do this year is obviously make more videos. Like, I've got so many games that I've recorded that I've got sitting on my computer at home, but I don't know how to edit them. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I'm just gonna straight up admit that I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, the Google Feud episode that I uploaded, I had no clue what I was doing. I thought it sounded good on my end, so I uploaded it, and you can't hear me talking. And it still got views, which confuses me. But you know what? We'll just go with it. But some of the stuff I really want to work on are some speed draws, because if you didn't know, I do art. And digital art, traditional art. It's just something that I've done for a really long time. And I just realized that I left all of my art stuff over there. I was going to show some of the stuff to you guys, but I guess I'll do that at the end of the video. Another thing that happened in 2018 was I started writing a book. It's a little fantasy fiction story. And I actually started it at the end of 2017, and I've been working on it. I worked on it all year last year, and it's still nowhere near done. I still gotta work on it the rest of this year, and probably part of next year, if we're being honest. Because I procrastinate a lot. But hopefully that'll be coming out. As much as I would like to read a little bit of it to you guys, I'm not gonna do that because I'm already stumbling over my words. And none of it's actually written out on paper. Like, this is just little notes of what I wanted to talk about. If I tried to read something out, like the back of this card, I would trip over my words and make a complete fool of myself. Let's see, what else happened in 2018? I want to talk about something that happened in 2017 and wasn't fully addressed until 2018. I came out to my mother. I already said this in my last video, that I came out to my mother via a note, a letter. And it didn't exactly end well. I don't know if I told you, but I did end up coming out to my dad as well. And that went amazing. Now, excuse me, TV. Sorry. I haven't really talked to my dad a whole lot lately, and I'm not really sure why. I don't know if it's something going on his end, or if I should try and call him, but we haven't talked a whole lot, which is a little bit of a downer for me, because he's literally the only person in my family that I've told about me being, transgender and pansexual and asexual, and he's the only person that's actually kind of accepted me for it. Obviously it didn't go down well with my mother, which was a real downer for me, because I was hoping that she would be alright with it. But whenever I realized she wasn't, it had a big impact on me, because it was my first time coming out to someone that was so close to me. And it really hurt to whenever she said that it was just a phase, that I would grow out of it, and I just needed to wait until I was a little bit more mature to be making these decisions. But it's been what, like 3 years? Not since I came out to her, but 3 years since I really started to feel that way, and it's still kind of there. So I don't know. I don't really know how to talk to her about it. But I took a few more steps forward in 2018 to really kind of, I don't know, accepting myself a little bit more. Because obviously being transgender and not having the option for transition or starting hormones or anything like that, it's really rough. Like right now I'm wearing a chest bind, really cheap $2 chest binder that I bought off of Wish because I couldn't afford my own binder for the longest time. But for for 2018 last year, I took a few steps forward and I made sure that I kind of put myself out there and said, hey, I prefer these pronouns and this name. And I would really appreciate it if you respected it. Now, if you didn't, then I'm not going to start a whole bunch. I'm not going to start a whole bunch of crap about it. Like, I'm not going to get in your face and tell you that you're a horrible person for not accepting me. Because that's not how it should work. If someone accepts you, then that's fantastic. If they don't accept you, but, they're still nice about it, I shouldn't, you shouldn't be mean to them about it. Now, if they're gonna say that they don't accept you and they start, like, slurring at you and calling you names and everything, I can understand the anger of it. And I can understand the being upset about it. But if they're being a decent person about it, like, hey, I really don't accept that, or I really don't feel comfortable calling you that, then I would be perfectly fine with it. I still have some friends that call me by my old name and still use the other pronouns because it kind of weirded them out, and I was perfectly fine with that because they weren't being complete jerks about it. The only thing that they did that upset me was, like, telling me how good I looked before, like, whenever I had longer hair, before I cut it, like, this short and started wearing gauges and binding everything. Like, they would tell me how good I looked, and that's something you really shouldn't do to someone who's transitioning. Like, if you tell a female to male person that they looked so pretty whenever they had their long hair and they wore makeup, they're really gonna hate you. Like, they're really, really gonna be mad at you. Same thing if you tell a male to female transitioner that they looked so good with their short hair and they looked so good whenever, like, they wore certain clothes. Like, don't tell them that. Tell them how amazing they look now. Like, I've got one of my friends, like, they're a really cool person. They're transgender, and I met them in high school. And, like, for the longest time, they didn't even have to tell me that they were female to male transgender. I immediately addressed them as he and him. And, like, they seemed, like, so happy whenever I'd done that. And they finally told me a few months later, hey, I don't know if you knew this or not, but I'm actually transgender. And, like, it threw me off a little bit because I'd never heard of it before. I was like, what do you mean? They were like, well, I used to be a girl that was, like, they tried to explain it to me in, like, the easiest way they could, and, like, they kind of told me, like, I'm a guy, I'm a boy trapped in a girl's body, and I immediately was like, oh, okay, so you're a guy. And I swear they almost started crying tears of happiness at that. Because that's kind of how it is for us. If you address us as male, if we prefer to be called male, or female, if we prefer to be called female, you've literally just given us hope. You've given us so much hope that tomorrow will be better, and that tomorrow it's just a step closer to finally becoming exactly who we want to be. Like, I don't know if you realize exactly how much that helps us, but it really does. It helps so much. But anyway, they were the first transgender person that I met, and they were the first person that I came out to. And they were excited to help me through this. We sat down and we talked at lunch, and, like, they just kind of told me how everything would go. They kind of warned me, this isn't going to be the easiest thing on the planet. Like, I know it looks easy and it sounds easy most of the time, but it's really not. It's going to be hard. And I fully accepted that. I was like, all right, I'm ready to face it. And I came out to people. And I don't know if I brought up this story in the last video that I did, but in case I didn't, the person that I had been dating at the time, in front of everybody that I'd come out to at school, like, I came out to everybody at school. And, like, the guy that I was dating at the time was kind of a jerk about it at first. Like, he was really nice and sweet about it in front of everybody at school, but later on that night, whenever we were talking on we were talking through social media. He started saying, I'm not into guys. Why can't you just stay the way you are? You're so amazing the way you are. And, that really hurt, because it was the first day I'd come out, and people were already being really mean about it. And I didn't really know what to do. And I remember telling him that, I'll be this for everybody else, but I'll be this for you. And after maybe a week of doing that, I realized that wasn't right. That wasn't how I was supposed to live my life. And I eventually just told him to piss off. And that worked out really great for me in the end. Because it's, almost 3 years since I did that. And look at me. I'm happy. I'm a lot happier than I was. And that's, I don't know, it was a good thing for me. It was a really good thing. And I encourage you guys to take the step forward. If someone that you know, if you've been out for a really long time and someone you know has been constantly calling you the wrong pronouns or treating you differently, just let them know how that makes you feel. Not in a mean or violent way, just kind of, hey, I'd really appreciate it if you stopped doing this or stopped saying this and treating me like this, because it makes me feel really bad. I encourage you guys, 2019 is going to be our year. We're going to take this year by the horns, and we're gonna boss our way through it. We're gonna make it through this year, and it's gonna be the best year. A couple other things that I wanted to talk about, or mention, I guess, is I wanted to do a little Q&A. I don't really know how many of you guys have questions for me about anything. Thank you. Go away. Yeah. Sorry, hotel guests. I don't know if you guys have any questions for me, but if you do, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them the best that I can. I guess. Again, at the beginning of the video, I apologize. I apologized a lot for not uploading a whole lot. Again, I've been busy, and half the time I don't know what I'm doing, so if you guys have any tips on how to edit things, or how to, just kind of, I don't know, mainly edit things, and what platforms I should use, what different websites and softwares that I should use, just please let me know, because I don't know what I'm doing. I've tried researching it, and I've got, different websites telling me different things, and, none of it really telling me what to use and how to use it properly. I also said I'd show you my art. Let me go get that. Oh, God. I've got a 20-pound backpack full of art stuff. I've got these 2 sketchbooks. I've got this sketchbook. If I can get it out. I've got 5 sketchbooks in my bag. I've got this sketchbook. Don't talk about that, please. That was a horrible drawing. And I've got this sketchbook. Is that all of them? That is all of them. This one was one that I had done last year. I don't know if I dated it. I did not date it. I never date my stuff. But this was one that I did last year around August? The end of August? No. Yeah, about the end of August was whenever I had done this one. And yeah, I'm a big, mythical creature freak. But here, so you can see a little bit better. That was one that I had done a long time ago, and it was one of the best that I'd ever done. And, obviously I've got these little, random little doodles, that one's of Chase Brody. If you know Jacksepticeye, you know who he is. And this was for something that's on Musical.ly or TikTok or whatever it is now, for Captain Renegade, which is Captain Tulio. This is the modern version of Tulio, and I had done this one a while ago as well, and I was really proud of it. It's something that I enjoyed doing. Another one that I'd done, I don't know if it's in this one or not. Hang on. This one was for a friend of mine. Not really for a friend of mine, but this is one that I had drawn of a friend of mine. They're gender fluid, non-binary, so I haven't talked to him at all today, and I don't know what name they're using today, so, Nina? Or Wylan? This one was of them a long time ago, and they look absolutely amazing, and it was adorable, and I had to draw it. It was sitting there on my phone, and I just had to draw it. Move on to the next sketchbook, the one that had the horrible picture. Now, this sketchbook is from 2.5 years ago, which is incredible to say the least of how much my art has improved over the years. Like, this was absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. And then last year, I started working more on figuring out my style. Like this one right here is one of mine. And that was whenever I first kind of started to figure out my style. And it's my favorite style so far that I've used this year. I tried doing some like I don't know really what to call it, but like off in the distance, you get like the sun, the house, trees, and like it's supposed to be a field of flowers. Like they're really small up here and they're starting to get bigger right around here, and I never finished it. But maybe this year I will finish it. Maybe that's a good New Year's resolution. I'll actually finish my art. This one was for Goretober and Egotober, and I never finished it, but this was for one of them. Now this was in October. This was my style in October, and later on in the year, I slowly started to develop into this style, which was a weird transition for me, but I really enjoyed it. And then, hang on, I don't want to accidentally pull up my entire shirt. Cloak happened with Mark and Jack, and that kind of sparked my little inner artist, and I made this for them. I haven't uploaded it because I never finished Mark's legs, and I apologize, but I can't draw legs. But that was for the Cloak brand that kickoff. I've got a whole bunch of doodles for like animations that I plan to do in the future, which I really need to talk about real quick. My animations. I am so sorry. I keep telling people, I'm working on animations. I'm like trying to get these finished, but right now I have not been working on them. I have not been working on them at all. I didn't work on them most of the year last year, and this year is going to be different. I'm going to start working on them. Obviously, I can't for the next couple of days because it looks like a blizzard is about to come in for the second time in the past week, which is always fun. But I am going to start working on animations more. Now this one, my new art style was, I really need to say this now, my art style was inspired by Icarus Descends. Icarus Descends on Tumblr. They're an amazing artist, and I want to wholeheartedly thank them for kind of inspiring me a little bit more to start up my art again. And again, this style is based off of their art. I'm going to try and leave a link to their Tumblr in the description because their art is absolutely fantastic. But this was for a story that I had read, obviously a fan fiction that I had read of Jack, and this picture came out of it. This is what I drew for that book, and it was actually a really good story. And obviously, if you couldn't tell by now, I really like Jacksepticeye. He was a big mental health advocate for me, and he was really my inspiration for going out and getting the help that I needed. And again, thank you so much for that. And obviously I watched a lot of his videos, and I watched the Subnautica series, which is by far one of my favorite series. So I started to draw this. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's one of the creatures from Subnautica, and like mixed with Jack. It's like a merman type deal. Like, if you couldn't tell by now, I'm obsessed with them. I love them a lot. And then once again for Icarus Descends, they have an AU called Kingdoms, and this was Mark, the Prince of Tiger Eye City, and this one was for Sean, or for Jack, which is my favorite one personally, which is the King of the Emerald Division. And then we skipped a really long ways through that until the Secret Santa that happened on Tumblr. I'm not really talking about 2018 anymore. This is just a video to update. This is an update and just a reflection video. For the Secret Santa, I got Lost Queen Ambrose on Tumblr. And they're an amazing person. I'm so happy that I got to meet them and talk to them. And I made this for them. It was just a little Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays thing. And they're a really cool person, and I'm so happy that I got to talk to them. And then we've got some more practice art. Like, what was really funny about this, if you're in the Discord chat, you'll know about this. But I was sitting down at the computer, and I started to draw Anti. And that monstrosity happened. Then I set the sketchbook down, waited for about 20 minutes, and then I came back and I drew those two. And I just kind of sat there staring at my sketchbook like, I just stopped drawing for 20 minutes and I'm suddenly able to create art. Art doesn't make sense most of the time. Like, this was another little doodle that I had done. Just another simple little doodle. And ignore the stick. It was a tattoo design that I never finished. Here's another picture of Jack. You know, I draw him a lot, but I just never post my art because I'm a horrible human being. There's another picture of Jack, and I think that does it for this sketchbook. Oh yeah, except for this. So the picture that I showed you at the very beginning of this like little art spiel, I decided I was gonna try and redraw it, and so far it's going pretty good. Not as good as I hoped, but you know, pretty good still. And then that's all of it for this one. This last sketchbook. This is one of the newer sketchbooks that I had. Again, if you're in the group chat, if you're in the Discord server, you'll know about this one. This was a little vent art that I posted a while ago. I was going through a really rough time last year. For not all of it, but there was a point where I was going through a really rough time. My family and I don't really get along that well because of me being, you know, my family is very heavily religious, and for me that didn't really work out so well because obviously if you're religious, you know how this stuff goes down with people usually. And like I was getting a lot of like negativity and hate for it. And all this stuff was running through my head and I didn't know how to deal with it because I didn't have anybody to talk to. So I put it down on paper, and this is kind of what became of it. And I'm actually really proud of it. I'm really proud of how it turned out, and it really helped me kind of get myself out there. Now this is a character in my book. It's, obviously if you haven't guessed by now, the fantasy book has mythical creatures in it. Some of them that we've heard of, some of them that I just kind of created because I didn't know what else to call them. Like, I made up my own mythical creature called an Anshi. You'll have to read the book to find out what it is. I'm sorry, I'm that guy. But this is Marin. And this is the first drawing that I've done that didn't have the pen outline on it. Like, I just went over it with really dark colored pencil. and I'm super happy with how it turned out. I also design tattoos for people. Like this one I designed for a coworker of mine. It's just like, it's a simple black rose that he wanted to get on his wrist. And, like, you know, I was super happy to design it. And, like, this one, the little crescent moon that I have, is one of my personal favorites that I've designed. And I'm actually going to be getting it either back here, right here, or, no, either here or here. And this other one, which is the Celtic Trinity knot, which is another one of my favorite, like, designs, I'm going to get it on the back of my neck. If you couldn't tell by now, I really like tattoos. This one is a little concept design of Sam Septicai. Excuse me. Can you stop slamming doors out there? That'd be fantastic. This one was a concept design for Antisepticai. For Sam Septicai that I was doing. And that I really want to get on one of my shoulders. This is a design. This is a few variants of the design for a coworker of mine, for another coworker of mine. He wanted adventure tattooed, I think, on his wrist or somewhere. He was gonna get it tattooed. And he showed me a little picture of it. And, you know, I agreed to design it for him. Which was absolutely no problem. Speaking of that, if you guys have any tattoos or anything that you want designed, or if you have any commissions that you'd like, I'm going to leave a link to my Tumblr in the bio, because I am currently, my commissions are still open. Right now they're all going to be traditional art, because my digital art stuff isn't working right now, and I kind of have to save up money to get some new stuff for it, but I will happily make some stuff for you. Obviously, again, I'm obsessed with mythical creatures and mermen and mermaids and stuff like that, because, leave me alone. It's fantastic. This was some of the stuff that I made. And then, what else do I have in here that's not related to that at all? I think that's it, because everything else is literally related to mythical creatures. And that's all the art, that is literally all the art that I have in my bag. I'm down here, excuse me. Now, about my book. This is how thick it is right now. This is how thick my book is right now. Here's a pen to comparison. It's about as thick as a pen is wide. Which I'm personally proud of myself for doing this. I don't know if I have any of the papers that I can read out right now, but I'll read out some of this. A lot of my writing is really really deep and really heavy, because it's what I know how to write really well. Like, I'm not good at writing the really, like, happy, peppy, really uplifting stuff, because that's just not how I write. So, one of the little bits of this, I'm only going to read maybe this one. Hang on, I'm trying to find a piece that I can actually read to you guys for it. Yeah, I'll just read this one, because it's a little bit of a downer, but it's also one of my favorite sentences. Either that, or I can, oh, you know what, I'll read this. I'll read this entire, or most of this paragraph. Do you ever think, never mind, it's a dumb question. She shook her head and started to walk away. No, none of your questions are dumb. I like them. They make me think, I said, turning and lightly tugging on her arm. Just to go with it, alright. He's talking to his sister. The main character right now is talking to his sister. I probably should have said that. She sighed and leaned against the porch railing again. Do you ever think about what happens after death? she asked. A distressed look painted on her face. She seemed really skittish and nervous. I don't think I have, or not in a long time I haven't anyways. I shrugged. Well, what do you think happens when we die? Like, what would we feel? I lifted myself onto the railing and swung my feet around a little. I don't know, maybe we'd see all of our good memories, or be reminded of things we've forgotten, like when we were little. I think it'd be peaceful. We'd be happy. She smiled at me and tears brimmed her eyes. Did I say something wrong? I asked, jumping down immediately and standing in front of her, concern etched on my face. No, what you said was actually really interesting. I'd never thought of it like that. I'd always considered the theory that we'd just feel nothing. No happiness, joy, fear, anger, sadness, or regret, just emptiness. And that's a small little bit of the book that I'm writing, because I'm a downer. This video has been going on for almost an hour, so I'm going to end up cutting it short right now. I'm cutting it short. I'm going to cut it off right now, and I guess I'll do another update video sometime soon. Maybe the Q&A that I mentioned. Again, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please let me know in the comments, because, oh, my battery's about to die. I'd really like to answer questions and kind of get feedback on you guys. Also, just kind of tell me what I should do for future videos and future stuff, because I'd really like to see it. I'd really like to know what you guys want to see, and I'd really like to try and create it for you. I'm going to be doing a whole lot more speed draws and stuff like that, which is going to be pretty fun, I guess. I think that's it. I think I've covered everything. I'm trying to think anything. I can't edit any of this out, so any awkward stutters or mess-ups that I have are going to be in this 50-minute long video. Here. I'm going to show you guys around. I'm going to show you guys outside real quick what it looks like for us. Oven! Oven! This is what the world looks like to us right now. There's a bird in the parking lot. That's nice. Like, those are all the clouds, and you know, I'm just gonna take y'all outside real quick. Oh god. Blankets. Like I said before, we're staying in the hotel room because it's too cold to stay in our own house. We don't have central heating. This is kind of what it looks like for us out here right now. I don't know if you can see it or not. I can't even see it. Giant icicles. Snow everywhere. Snow blowing in from there. And this is what it looks like outside. It's actually kind of nice, but it's freezing cold. Like, usually right about there we have a mountain, but can't really see it. There's a lot of snow, and it's really cold, so I'm gonna go back inside. We also have icicles. Hang on, let me make sure that set you guys down for a second. Hold on. Okay, no one's down there. Oops. I don't know if I can reach these ones. Yeah. Oh. Holmes! Be honking! Yeesh! It scared the crap out of me. Okay. Let's go back inside. Where it's warm. I'm gonna end this video here before I exceed my hour limit. I'll see you guys in the next video, I guess. hope you enjoyed. I really hope that you're not sitting here still watching this, because if you are, then I'm proud, I guess. Bye!